Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I'm Artsume Shae, if you didn't know already. And in this video today is kind of twofold. The first is announcing one that I have started Patreon. Yes, I have officially finished the cycle of thinking and overthinking and researching out the wahoo and finally decided to start up my Patreon. So that's the announcement, and in this video today I will be showing you kind of how I've been going about planning my Patreon, and I'll be showing you getting my rewards ready for this September. So Patreon. I feel like there is a ton of videos out there that will tell you the perfect formula to, when you should start it, when you should do it, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, I don't think that there is a perfect time necessarily. I do think there are certain aspects that I considered as far as making sure it made sense to start a Patreon. And I feel like a lot of those things have already kind of fallen in place. So I started my free member Patreon, I want to say about maybe like May-ish, and I started that off just so I can go ahead and have the space to start putting in things that maybe I wouldn't put on Instagram or other spots like that. So it was completely free, and it really started off just as like kind of like a blog spot, which I think is a really great option with Patreon because you can add in as many behind the scenes aspects as you want. That way people who are really into whatever you're doing can get that peek behind the curtains. I also think that Patreon right now is in a really good spot because with the emergence of, artificial intelligence, with the emergence of these things that kind of are starting to make art and art making feel like a little bit lifeless. I feel like a lot of people are seeking like some type of connection to the art and the art making. So that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to start it up. So yeah, that's kind of why in terms of my approach to really just anything that I create, I always try to add like a personal touch to it. That way you got a flesh and bone human behind what you're creating. But overall, I'm very eager to talk about kind of like what I started doing to, I guess, just kind of brainstorm and plan out my Patreon, because when you really think about it, Patreon, whether it's a free Patreon or whether you have paid tiers, is kind of like an additional job outside of just creating the thing that you're creating. So my method to all of this is just making sure that if I am drawing something, I'm not just drawing it. I'm also, thinking about the process. I'm recording the time lapse. I'm trying to kind of like extend what it is I'm doing into multiple avenues. That could be a TikTok, that could be a YouTube channel. The options are limitless. So I think it was like a while ago, I went onto my Patreon early in and basically asked everybody, hey, like, what is it that you would want to see from a paid Patreon available? So I went in and I did a poll. Oh, it was December 2024. Wow. It was a while since I've started my Patreon. So it's been almost about a year, a little over a year now. And so yeah, I've just been putting on a lot of like behind the scenes and things like that, getting people's input. Any art that I would put onto Instagram, I would put on Patreon early and things like that. Also sneak peeks at episodes and yeah, just different stuff like that. All right, so it was June 3rd, 2025, so a few months ago. It was after I was done with WEBTOON contest, after I was done with season finale and all that good stuff. I put up a paid survey. So I basically asked everybody, hey, like, if I were to put a paid tiers up, what would be interesting to you for, what you would participate in with the paid tiers? And the reason I, of course, asked that seems pretty obvious because I didn't want to exert myself, like overexert myself starting off with Patreon. I really wanted to have, you know, rewards that people were interested in and expecting. That's not to say down the line I don't start to, you know, dive into other things, but when I'm first starting a Patreon, paid tiers, I'm not gonna lie, kind of setting my expectations low. So for that, once again, I didn't want to put too much out there for people to offer, because think about it like this, you know, you have your day job, and if you go in, clock in for those, you know, 8 hours or so, you do all of this work, and at the end of the pay period, you get paid nothing. Like, that's kind of how I'm treating it, because I want to pour a lot of, you know, great content, especially behind the scenes content into this, but then also starting off, I may not have the traction that I'm, you know, hoping for maybe, but we'll get maybe down the line. So I asked all of the peeps, I said, you know, season 2 is currently in the writing phase at the time, and I'm looking to replenish my content. I'm also working on tiers for Patreon. I need your help. And so I asked them to select 3 to 4 exclusive incentives that they would be interested in the most. And the top votes were stickers, mini prints, and early comic episodes. So those are the 3 things that I was like, yes, absolutely, that is doable. I can definitely make that happen. And then, so those all received 4 votes. And then the thing that received 3 votes is a little spicy content. So I was like, you know what? That's not that hard to do. I think that could be added to my plate on something I can draw on a monthly basis. And then the things that got 1 vote were monthly digital items, things like wallpapers, calendars, etc., which arguably is like one of the easiest things that I could, you know, create, but that got, you know, 1 vote. So I was like, you know what, I just will kind of tuck that into the back pocket for later. And then early videos, which to be honest, I don't come out with videos as consistently, so I don't think that having videos early on Patreon is that big of a deal. And then AU or alternate reality content, that got 1 vote. So yeah, basically from that, I just immediately was like, you know what? The people who are already on the free tier, they have voted, and I'm going to take that to heart. And that's going to be kind of like the business plan for moving on with planning the Patreon. So after I did the survey, I started brainstorming pretty much my entire month by month content. Now, this is like kind of just a like info dump document. It's pretty much just some, like I said, brainstorming. I first brainstormed the tiers, so it was kind of hard to come up with a price point on the tiers, but I figured the tiers would really reflect like what I would be willing to pay for the different items. So I started off with the kind of tip jar, which I feel like the tip jar gets you just enough exclusive material where you do feel like, oh, like this is an added bonus outside of maybe Instagram or the comic. And you also get, you know, some fun insights, and you get to see the art a little bit early. And then I have the medium tier, which is going to be pretty much that monthly sticker club tier, and that also includes the early episodes. So I feel like that middle tier is kind of that sweet spot where most of the rewards and most of the benefits sit at. So it's like I get to 1, have a fast pass for these episodes, and 2, I get to get a sticker or 2 in the mail for free. So I think that that's like a nice area, nice sweet spot. And then with the final and highest tier, that is going to get you a monthly print and also the kind of like fan servicey soft spice content that's kind of exclusive from it, from what you would get with the bottom tiers, and even with what you would get from the other ones. So with that, I also of course include shout outs. So I've got the shout outs at the end of the episodes, and also when you start to go higher, you get shout outs for episodes and videos. So yeah, I try to keep it kind of diverse. I try to keep it where all of the tiers do feel very different and unique. Then I kind of worked on like a supply list, so some things that I have gotten, that way I can try to do all of my production at home, is things like sticker paper, laminate, and also I have coming in the mail some print paper. So another thing that I've decided to do with Patreon is to make it where I'm doing all of the stuff myself at the highest quality, because it costs money to send it off to suppliers. It costs money to have these things made by a third party. And I do think that's 100%, valid. At the same time, if I'm not yet seeing money come in from these things, then I can't quite spend a lot of money going into it. What I am going to do is invest the time and quality into being able to make it at home. And so later on in this video, I will be working on printing those rewards, and then you guys will be able to see firsthand what some of those things are. And so yeah, I just made like a really long tentative list of ideas that I have month by month. Super chaotic, just really mind dumping everything that I'm hoping to make, and I think that would be cool ideas. Some of these months are going to be awards that are centered around Space Ultima. Some months are going to be fan art. So it really depends, and I think having in mind the theme for every month ahead of time is really, really good, because then you really can take the guesswork out of it. All I do is like just say, in April, what do I think would be a cool idea? Oh, that's a really good one. Let me go ahead and make that. So that's something that I've been working on in the background. And then also just coming up with like a general business plan on like how I hope to turn one piece of art or one piece of content into like multiple streams of content and things like that. So I think that's one of the biggest parts with Patreon, is it is you getting a front row, a backstage pass to that person's art, your art, what you do and what you are creating. So okay, and then I actually made a planner for my Patreon schedule. So I used kind of like some spreadsheets to come up with, okay, what is the drop down for so you have the item, and then you have a drop down that allows you to select what the tier is. You have a drop down that allows you to select the status, some details, the date that's planning on being posted, and then an area where you can even put in the theme for that month. And so then I have it here with September, October, November, December until January. Yeah, like I'm a really big like systems person. So like I feel like with the way my brain works, I can't just have things kind of floating around. I have to have stuff concrete, set to a plan, and that way it could be more manageable. So if you guys see this Patreon schedule calendar and think that it's really cool and really nice idea, then let me know, and I'll try to make a public one for you guys to download and use for yourselves. So once again, it's not like perfect. I've done enough research on Patreon since it became a thing. I mean, I think it's been a thing for like almost 10 years now. So I've known about it for a while, and I've always kind of like, pondered it and whatnot. When I started Space Ultima, that was definitely the reasoning why I was like, okay, I really do want to start Patreon sooner than later, and so now I'm doing it. So yeah, a lot of hard work on the front end has gone into it, so now I have the work going into making this stuff. So it's kind of cool because I started working on September's rewards in August. Actually, I want to say as early as July. So July, I had started working on September, and now I am currently working on October. So the other thing that's great is to also have a buffer and front load all of these, things that you plan on making month by month, because, you know, you never know, maybe we're about to get into the holidays, for example, and, you know, you got a lot of, you know, events with family, events with friends, a lot of things going on. So yes, it's like, I really do want to like work consistently on these things, but, you know, it might not be as convenient for you to do that as, you know, as you want to. So it's also helpful to have a buffer in case there is a really busy month, you know, with school, work, illnesses, who knows. So I'm trying to really work on the front end as much as possible, so that way I can really have maybe calmer months where it's like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about November's rewards because it's already out there. So yeah. That being said, now I'm gonna go ahead and do some writing, and I'm gonna kind of brainstorm some ideas I have for upcoming months. That's the other great thing, is some of these months I have things that I'm working on, and it's really great to have ideas. That way, once the time comes to make it, you can just make it. So. Hello everybody, it is currently about middle of the week here. I've gotten off from work, so that's why I look like it's been a day, but other than that, I am here today to do a little bit of printing, do some Patreon work, and one of the things I'm very excited and kind of nervous to present is that I got a new printing machine. Welcome to the household. Welcome to the family. My new Cameo 3 by Silhouettes. That is what I'm going to be utilizing today to do a bit of printing. If you've seen a previous video, you'll know that I have a Cricut that I've owned for a very long time. She's probably a little out of date, so honestly I've been needing to upgrade it regardless of what brand I planned on upgrading. One of the reasons why I've really wanted to upgrade or change machines is because that cutting machine, my Cricut, it was honestly doing like 1 sheet per hour. And it was also getting very, it was kind of losing calibration really often. Like I would print a great sheet, finish it all, and then the next one would be a horrible print. So that is something I was really wanting to get. Now this one I got off of Facebook Marketplace. That's really been honestly my my hack when it comes down to, you know, certain upgrades to my business. Other than that, I also have invested in getting some print paper. So I'll show you that here. So I was scrolling on TikTok, and one of the videos was a really interesting video about how to make your art prints from home. So they were not gatekeeping. They made sure to list what brand and what items they get. So I just went ahead and started with getting the 8.5 by 11 because I feel like I could at least print, you know, 2 different sizes on there. And checking it out, it is really nice. Like, I would definitely say this is the type of paper that I would get a print on, an art print, and, you know, hang it up, put it up, and things like that. So that is something else that I'm going to be testing out today. I'm going to be seeing what it's like, what the print quality is like for printing something like this. Because yeah, if I could start doing some of these things from home, then all I have to do is buy the supplies to make them. So trying to be very like DIY. Something that did come in the mail that I'm super excited about. So once again, I was like, well, I do kind of want to see what professional quality products look like. So I want to make sure that I'm, you know, getting as close to professional as I can. This is something that I went ahead and got just because, you know, I've got a future event coming up and I want to have some really good prints for that. And so yeah, I ordered off of FedEx Print, postcard size or high postcard size. And yeah, I got to see some really cool Space Ultima prints. So yes, this looks so good. The color is very nice. Now I will say I didn't order, or I didn't export this image as CMYK. It was just a regular RGB image. But I mean, even here you can see it does have some sheen on it. It is very nice and vibrant in color. And yeah, it doesn't look muddy at all. So I would say this is pretty true to color. I have a feeling with FedEx, some people may or may not know the difference between RGB and CMYK, so I have a feeling they might just compress it and kind of have a very generic print umbrella when it comes down to colors. But regardless, I really think that it came out as close as possible to how I actually expect it to. This is not what I'm going to be testing out printing today. It's going to be actually a sneak peek at an October reward for my Patreon. So let's go ahead and get down to it. Gotta set up the machine. Probably should have did that beforehand, but that's okay. Set up my machine and then see what it's like to print stickers on it. Okay, so first one was not a success, and I'm curious as to why it didn't work, but I will say I had the machine pushed too far back, so when it tried to do the registry marks, it hit the wall. So maybe a rookie mistake, I'm not sure, but I think I'm gonna do another go. Obviously I am, because I need a reprint anyway. So I'm gonna take this bad boy off. We're gonna try it again. I did it nice and clean. Oh, did I not do it thick enough? Hard enough? Oh no, I think I did it as a sticker sheet. Dang it. I did do it as a sticker sheet. Dang it. So it comes off. If I want to do sticker sheets, I guess there's that, but yeah, that's not how I wanted it. Okay, so since I already have a lot of the Sophie and Zan heart stickers, I thought a real challenge for the machine is going to be printing out these Space Ultima stickers. These ones that I tried to do last time, I think that's going to be a really good challenge for the machine to see if it can handle something that's like a complex image. So I'm actually going to instead do my main test with these. Now something I haven't done with this is do the calibration. So that might be why towards the end it started running out of steam, but to cut such a complex shape so quickly, I'm already like really impressed. I feel like the Cricut that I had prior to this machine might have been like a hobby machine and not like, I don't know, something for needing a little bit more speed behind it. But yeah, you can kind of gather and see that in these upper ones, it did a better job of its spacing. Then you get towards the end, you notice the spacing is a little bit uneven. But yeah, they start off like really good. And then let me go ahead and use my scraper. Like I said, I'm very impressed how quickly I was able to cut this. So the next time I'm gonna try out doing the laminate on top, but I think between maybe recalibrating the machine and then also making sure that the pressure selected is absolutely the pressure that's supposed to be, I think that these are going to be perfection. But for now, I do really enjoy and like how this machine cuts. Alright, so my 2 at-home experiments, I would say were very successful. I think that, of course, the print idea, the print with the paper and all, I think came out really, really good. This is like the quality of print that I would get at like any type of artist alley, getting from, you know, just any artist that I want to support online. So this is definitely something I'm going to stick with, and it looks so saturated. It's hard to describe, of course, because you're not here, but like I said, it really looks like it is fully pressed onto the paper. And all I used was double-sided matte paper and my Pixma printer. I'm probably going to have to invest in some ink sooner than later, but that's okay, because if I want to go ahead and do some bulk of these, that's going to come in handy. But yeah, this is kind of like an average A5 print, which is really big and substantial. It's like bigger than a postcard, so I'm, yeah, very, very happy with how this turned out. And I also am very impressed with the cutting quality of the Silhouette Cameo 4. Of course, I got it secondhand, and I feel very confident in it. I think in the future, I'm just gonna take a whole day to do this, make sure that everything is as precise as can be. I just really wanted to break it out and be able to test it for the video. But of course, as you can see here, it did a really good job cutting the Space Ultima shape. Of course, the shape is very jagged and has a lot going on. It's not like a straightforward heart like some of those other stickers. But besides that, I think that for most basic shapes, it's going to be amazing, and I'm just going to do a little bit of tinkering to make sure that I can cut out more complex shapes in the future. Overall, I feel like my confidence level with like some of these at-home things has grown for sure. I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of, you know, vetting and making sure that I'm getting my resources and being able to do it from home. So I feel really confident in the quality of stuff that I'm going to be able to make, which really just makes me even more excited with this venture into, you know, the Patreon sphere. So I feel confident. I hope that you all feel confident, and I hope that maybe this video has helped you with some of the different merch and product items that you might be considering making. And of course, who am I to do an entire video about Patreon without discussing the fact that I now have a Patreon. So the link will be in description, but of course it is patreon.com/Artsume_Shae. It is going to be filled with a lot of fun behind the scenes, a lot of new stuff, and of course, if you are a reader of the story and you're trying to snag some merch items, then this is going to be your way of consistently getting that. And of course, as soon as episodes start rolling out, you'll be able to read those episodes in bulk ahead of everybody else, shortly, maybe about a few weeks before it goes public. But regardless, if you are just here to support me and like and subscribe to my channel, that is 100% fine too, because believe me, I do see all of the analytics of the people who do watch my video, read my comic, and really just, you know, support any old thing that I do. So I really do appreciate that as well. But yeah, that'll be it. I'm gonna go ahead and work on a few other things, because believe me, I got a lot going on. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!